VPN at technophilespodcast.com. I'm David Geisler, and this is the Technophiles Podcast.
Live broadcasting, I think, is nothing new, but Facebook targeting this so aggressively has kind of turned some heads and just like, hey, they're really all in on this being kind of a wave of the future.
This week, the cast talks about Facebook Live, WhatsApp's encryption, and see-through solar panels. It's time to go live live because this is the Technophiles 293rd episode. Hey everybody, welcome to tonight's show. I am here with the regular cast, V, Lobs, Crystal Lee Malone, and Jake Gill. V, how are you doing?
I'm good.
It's kind of weird. It's like we haven't been in the studio here for like almost 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
It's, we had some post-production stuff we had to move around last week, so we didn't record last week. Mm-hmm. But the last episode we had was the live show, our fifth live show at UWM with Julian Jackson and Greg Post of the Milwaukee Public Museum. That was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a blast.
That was a loaded question, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
That was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
No,
I agree.
Sure.
But here we are. It's almost weird being back in this space right now.
I'm cool with it.
No, it's nice to have like the lights back on us and
yeah.
stuff. It feels good. It feels like
back
we're back
in the
home.
Zone.
Back home, back in the zone. Crystal Lee, how are you doing?
I am doing good as well.
All right, cool. Spiffy scarf you got on tonight.
Thanks.
Right.
Actually, it was a Christmas present that I had not yet worn. So
So
I felt like, man, I should really wear this once before, it becomes 80 degrees.
Before it gets too warm 5
Right.
months from now.
Right.
I'm just joking.
Well, that sounds about right, considering that I heard snow in the forecast again this
Don't.
week.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
Don't.
This Midwest weather has been so weird this year. Like we have
Yes.
another 2 weeks of. I don't think it even gets above 50 degrees Fahrenheit for like the next 2 weeks.
No, it doesn't. And I think it's either tonight or tomorrow night. I don't remember. It's supposed to snow again.
I'm over it. I'm done with it.
Me
Jake
too.
Gill, how are you doing over there? I caught a mid note taking.
Mid note taking. I'm
sorry.
doing great.
Yeah.
No, it's fine.
Nice.
Things are going well.
Sweet. Cool. Let's get into this, huh? I was gonna. Oh wait, I want to catch up on a few things if that's okay.
Yeah.
V, you had your stream with Greg this past weekend, which
Yeah.
I was able to tune in and watch. That was awesome.
Yeah, on Saturday we did our Bashamania. We played 16 hours of pro wrestling games, video games. And it was a blast. We had Rob Wayland on. We played some arcade games.
Was Rob the guy that got there kind of early? Who
no.
was the gentleman that joined you very early
That's
on?
our buddy Jim.
He's hysterical.
Yeah, you like it?
I thought he was very funny.
He knows a lot. It's pretty great. Yeah.
He has a weird. He's a bit dry.
Yes.
But he'll kind of like throw these things in where you're like, that was well executed.
Yeah,
That was a
I
good
know.
little joke you put together there.
Yeah, having Rob on was really fun too because he has a lot of fond memories of like playing the arcade games. So
Excellent.
He kicked everybody's butts at those, and I was just mystified because it was like, there's no directions on this. Let's just mash buttons and hope I
I'll tell
win.
you what, there was some 16-bit wrestling game that you played a couple hours in that I freaked out about. I got to be honest, guys. It was amazing. It was the one where it was sprite-based, and then so it was a sprite-based wrestling game, so there's no zooming, there's no dynamics,
Yeah.
but it was like a Super Nintendo game or something.
Yeah.
And it was like a split screen, 3 screens.
Yeah, Hammerlock Wrestling.
Hammerlock Wrestling. The middle screen was what you actually like
Yeah,
played
that's the
in.
ring where your arena.
But then the top screen and the bottom screen, I'm just saying screens, but portions of the screen were
Yeah.
like close-ups of the
Yeah.
wrestlers.
It was like a comic book.
It
It
was
was like
so
a
cool.
3-panel comic shot.
That was my favorite by
Yeah.
far.
It was real. It has a really unique presentation.
It was one of those things where because it's a little bit abstract, you build in some of the extra information. So you were
Yeah.
like wrestling someone, and I remember watching it on Twitch. I was doing post production for episode 292 for the live show, but I had it going on my iPad on the side, and for those like 5 or 6 minutes, I was just like, whoa, I was like in
it was
it.
exciting.
I was in it. It was it was just crazy. It was awesome. So
That's
it
great.
went well, and you guys raised a bunch of money and stuff.
Yeah, we
and-
raised about $1,090, I think, or $19,
Nice.
somewhere around there, for the Children's Hospital of Wisconsin.
Mhm.
And it was a lot of talking, so I'm a little hoarse. And also, WrestleMania was the day after, so I was doing a lot of yelling there, and I'm
course.
still recovering.
I signed
like
in.
almost a week
I signed in
later.
as Raptor Paint, but then Technophiles for the heck of it, we hosted you guys out too. But
Yeah.
you had a lot of people joining in and
Yes.
watching and commenting. And
It was a really fun party. We had a lot of the Button Mash Bash people coming in to play.
excellent.
And it was great. They all came. Some of them even came in like costumes.
There was a lot of costumes.
Yeah,
Nice.
lots of really
Sounds like a
shiny
rager.
pants. Lots of shiny pants.
It was fun. It was fun to watch, and
Yeah.
it sounds like it went really well.
Yeah,
And then,
I'd
of
do
course-
it again in a heartbeat.
Excellent. So now, guys, also, I need to say real quick before we get into this, next week we are not recording. I don't know if you guys noticed on the calendar yet or not, but I'm going to be out of town for a week now. I kind of got like a surprise gift to go see my birthday's coming up, and I got a surprise airplane ticket to go see her in Texas for a week.
Oh,
Cool.
So I'm looking forward to that. We won't record one episode. We'll get by. But I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm kind of excited, and maybe I'll make a newscast video out of this because I kind of do like roller coasters. I kind of like studying which theme parks where the new ones come out. I mean, I'm not like crazy about it, but I do enjoy that. And there's a new roller coaster at the Six Flags in San Antonio where it's a virtual reality roller coaster. Have you guys? So Six Flags has rolled these things out. There's like 3 or 4 of them out there right now across the nation that Six Flags did this year.
Yeah.
But it's not a virtual reality coaster in that you're not like putting on goggles and then going into a gyroscope. You are literally riding a roller coaster wearing virtual reality goggles.
Oh, yeah. I think I've seen video of this.
Perhaps you have. It's like Alien Attack, Alien Invasion, something or other. And every little track is a little bit different. So somehow I think the intelligence is in the helmets. In the masks, and they must be just doing a little bit of tracking where you are on the track to keep it kind of synced, and you can look around and you don't, and so for this virtual reality experience you don't see the track. They don't also map the track in VR. So it kind of feels like you're just flying around. I think I'm kind of looking forward to that.
It's got to be really disorienting for a lot of people.
I'm sure, and I'm looking forward to trying that out. I'm also excited to go see my sister and be in 90-degree weather while you guys are here in 40, 50 degrees next week.
Rub it in.
It's gonna be real tricky, but it's okay. Crystal Lee, you're going to be kind of holding down the fort with Nate and Dawn doing the newscast while I'm gone. But I think it's going to work out well.
And sci-fi science, I think.
No, I'm here for sci-fi science, but then post-production is going to get a little tricky. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
Jake, in fact, is going to be our guest on the next sci-fi science. That's really exciting.
Wait, I am?
Yes.
Yeah,
I hate you right now. Oh my god.
It was like a calm, actually the opposite of a calm, a quiet panic rolled over the entire studio
weren't
here.
sure if we knew what we knew.
No, it's going to be super fun.
We have you on as a guest, Jake. And what book are you guys going to be, I guess, reviewing or talking about? Chris Lee's the host, but why don't you say?
Yeah, we're going to be talking about Santi, the 3-body problem. It's a Chinese book that was translated into English. It's super geeky. It's super fun. There's a lot going on in there. It's actually a book that I read in Chinese, and now I'm reading it in English, and I think it's going to be a blast to talk about. So it's about the 3-body celestial problem. There's like 3 suns, and they're trying to figure out. We don't want to go into too much detail, but they're trying to like solve this problem, and which is an actual.
It's a real thing.
Thought experiment.
Right.
Yeah.
When you have 3 different things that are putting gravity on each other, like we can kind of do the 2, that's pretty easy. When you have 3, it gets much more complicated. But then it gets
really hard to predict. So, should be fun.
Awesome. That'll be cool, and that'll be coming out in a couple weeks. I think that actually might come out around the same time as our next live show. So now that we got all of these logistics out of the way, let's talk about what we're talking about tonight. We had to kind of catch up a little bit. It's good seeing you guys. Tonight, we're talking about 3 different topics. Jake, you've brought a story about Facebook Live, which I'm kind of excited about hearing about. I don't know anything about it yet. Then we're going to go in part 2, V, we're going to be talking about a WhatsApp story. Oh, WhatsApp encryption. I have not had a chance to see that either yet. I'm going to be learning a lot on this episode. And then we're going to finish off in part 3. Crystal Lee, you found some information about see-through solar panels. Now, we've talked about solar panels a lot on this show before, and we've even talked about some that are somewhat see-through. Were you ever on for any of those episodes? I full disclosure, I apologize. I'm forgetting if I was talking to you about it or if I was talking to like Tina Urch back in season 6 about it.
I think you were talking to Tina because I remember before I joined the cast listening and having one of those moments where I was like, I wish I was there right now.
Yeah.
And,
I think at the time, this is almost
back.
2 years ago, but we were talking about like, these solar panels can literally just go on the windows of skyscrapers and stuff like that. There's potential, and we'll see if this lines up with any of that later in the show. So Jake, we're like almost 10 minutes into this episode, and hopefully the audience is still excited about what we're about to talk about. So Jake, let's dive right in here. Facebook Live, what's going on?
So this is Facebook Live actually has been around for a little while. It's something that Facebook has been working with, but it's kind of been reserved for like the elite. It's been, celebrities or very. I think that they've been very selective in who they've been providing these accounts for while they're doing testing. Well, all that changed today when Mark Zuckerberg and the Facebook team said, "Hey, we're bringing Live to everyone. This is now a thing that you can do on your mobile phone." And this push, Facebook really, 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 really wants us to be kind of broadcasting our lives. And I think it's kind of cool. And I just think it's really interesting. So I wanted to kind of talk about it and some of the potential implications of what this could mean. Me
not knowing anything about it yet, my knee-jerk reaction is this Facebook's version of Periscope?
Yep.
Okay.
It absolutely is.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that now I don't know very much about Periscope, but I think Periscope has been fairly successful, and I think that Facebook recognizes that this is a new model. This is going into new uncharted territory, and they want in. They want to leverage the 1.5 billion users that are on Facebook and kind of disrupt a little bit of what's going on with traditional news media, because really, opening articles. So there's been tons of articles online talking about this. Mark Zuckerberg on Facebook today, you could see Mark talking, and he was doing his live show, and they have archives of all of this stuff. So it's live in the sense that you really, to get the full experience, you're with whoever's broadcasting right away, right? Mm-hmm. But they have these dedicated areas where you can go and watch. Recaps and you can watch the video again of what has happened.
Okay.
But, for Facebook, the idea is that like we have now for probably the first time in the history of, our planet, like kind of with the access of technology, we kind of all have TV cameras and news cameras in our pockets.
Right.
So if we want to share, an intimate moment, we want to share something that we think is newsworthy, we just want to get on and blab on about whatever, that is now a real possibility through Periscope and through Facebook.
Right.
So, the concept of kind of live broadcasting, I think, is nothing new, but, Facebook targeting this so aggressively has kind of turned some heads and just like, hey, they're really all in on this being kind of a wave of the future, which I think is really sweet. So, yeah, it opened up today.
I know with Periscope, their kind of idea was that if, let's say there's just for the sake of an example here, there's a event happening in a city.
Mm-hmm.
Let's even make it dramatic. Let's say it's a protest or something like that.
Sure.
And let's say there's 10 people out of those hundreds that are there that have their Periscope up and running.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that Twitter was getting excited about with Periscope is that you might be able to somehow kind of aggregate all of those angles and experiences and bring it together, and it can almost create its own news, in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In fact, I think they were kind of getting excited about like you could watch this person and maybe it would auto switch to the next closest. Wasn't there a thing about GPS, or were we just speculating?
I don't know. I think that might have been speculation.
Yeah, it was.
But I could see hashtags being aggregated.
Yeah, the hashtags do that.
Sure.
And Facebook certainly gets a lot of, Twitter certainly gets a lot of data, but Facebook gets more data.
They get more data. Yep. And they have more users,
right?
This is, like I said before, this is 1.5 billion people that could be sharing it. That's basically, I think what's interesting about this is that Facebook, because of their user base, they just have more reach than literally every other company on the planet when it comes to this.
Mm-hmm.
It's absolutely true.
And so, this is going to be, just a very different world in how we kind of interact with things or our awareness or who we can tune in on. I think that there's going to be a lot of really interesting stories that come up, now that people are doing things. And so kind of what's interesting about kind of Facebook and Periscope and things like this is, live now, doing something and being able to kind of comment real time and all this stuff like that is the scarcity, is this kind of, if you are really into wrestling, right? Mm-hmm. You're going to want to go to the wrestling show. Like you want to be there. And so they're hoping that they can kind of leverage all of these different people and things and be like, yep, we're going to draw people in by just we have more people. They're going to be doing more interesting things. And if you're interested in something like that, then you are going to either be a watcher or you're going to be someone that is willing to kind of share insights and use your phone as a portal into whatever it is that you're getting into.
Yeah.
Now you have been saying the word show here too a little bit. And I know, just to compare it to, I can't help but think about the Periscope experience and, for example, like the Twitch experience, where I feel like Periscope is very quick and Twitch is something obviously much longer, you know, to the point where it's like planned shows and things like that. Is Facebook, you've been saying show a few times here, is Facebook trying to go that route, do you think? Or is it more like, oh, I'm at a thing and I've got my camera and I want to share that?
I'm not sure. I think we're going to have to see how this naturally evolves. Right now, it sort of more feels like, hey, I just want to broadcast live. I'm just going to put it out here.
Is this like 2 months from now we put an iPhone over in the corner of the studio here and do Facebook Live out the show? Is that what it's for? Or is it for something? Or is it for if we all go to a convention together and we're just kind of like live Facebooking that we're there?
I don't know. I feel like
I'm just throwing
it
this
could
all out.
probably go either way. Yeah.
It's just a new type of media.
Do you know, I'm very excited about this idea right now, do you know if it must be recorded through, for example, like a phone or a tablet or something?
Oh, I don't know.
You know, I wonder if you could set up a webcam and Facebook Live into your browser or something through your browser.
Not sure.
That'd be interesting.
Not sure.
So to comment on your question really quick, with most technologies, whatever a thing is actually designed for is not nearly as relevant as how people use it. So I think the answer to your question, we will know 3 or 4 months from now, because what will happen is people will use it in a certain way and then Facebook will react accordingly to make it better for that use.
Sure. I mean, like the best example ever is Twitter, like the history of Twitter. Every single thing that is a feature on Twitter right now was actually kind of like a user hack.
Yep. Yes.
Like even the hashtags, all of it was like user hacks in the beginning. And they said, well, let's make it a feature.
Yeah.
Sure.
Didn't mean to bring the conversation to a screeching halt there. But
no.
Well, it's one of the, there's no debate, right? It's like, yes, you are correct, David.
Well done. Yes, indeed. So yeah, Facebook Live. So it is live for everybody today. Is it being expressed through the Facebook app? Is it being expressed through the Facebook Messenger app?
I don't have either of those on my
app?
phone.
I wonder.
Hold on. Why don't I go to?
Right,
do you have
sweet.
to download it extra? Or
I don't know.
Let's find out. If you want to,
Chrisley, if you want to do a little,
live,
if you can do a little research.
I'll Periscope you, Facebook Living.
You. Yeah.
So. Well, you're pulling that up, though. Kind of a few interesting things about the rollout.
Yes.
It's currently available in 60 countries.
All right.
I don't know. The article I was reading suggested that was like not that many, but I'm like, it's day one of like everyone being able to access. It seems pretty good to me.
Yeah.
But they have been using this for a while. Another kind of interesting thing here, and maybe we can actually have our anthropologist on hand comment, but they're noticing right now in live, one of the you can if you're like a viewer, you can talk to people and you can message and create these kind of conversations internally inside of what's going on.
Yeah.
But they're noticing that there's like 10 times more comments and reactions to live content than to content that just people are posting.
Sure.
Yeah. That makes sense, because you are all there presently at the moment, rather than, I check on this every now and then to see what's going on. You don't want to miss a second, and so people are chiming in. They want to interact.
Well,
it's like Twitch.
Yeah, it's like Twitch, and it's just like with your Bashamania that you did this past weekend. People are obviously more inclined to comment because you and everybody else who's on the other side of that camera can live comment right back.
Yeah, exactly.
And of course, you're more not engaged to do that. But
the engagement is what draws people to that. Is like being able to communicate to somebody live.
Yeah. You watch a YouTube video, and when it's all done, you go, okay, well, I guess I'll say something. I guess I won't.
I'll leave a comment, and maybe they'll reply to it. But it's like, if you comment on your friend's like Facebook Live video, they'll definitely see that.
Let's talk about a way that this could break.
Sure.
Just for the fun of it for a second, let's do a hypothetical about how this could break. Let's say we were Facebook Living, or I guess Twitching or Periscope or whatever, but let's just say Facebook Living, like our shows. I'm serious about this. And we also have comments coming in. Does that all of a sudden does that enhance the show if people can talk to us live while we're talking about these issues? Or does that break our show because now we're not am I getting Facebook Live posted right now?
Yes, we are Facebook Live right now on
Whoa!
Crystal Lee's Facebook.
I saw Crystal Lee hold up her phone.
So Crystal Lee does this
So where did you find it? On your Facebook app?
Hi, everyone. Is this on the app or is this a separate app?
It's on the app. You don't even have to download something. What I did is I went to where you would go to just type in a post.
Yeah.
And you know how there's the little icons underneath if you want to do a video or a photo or whatever normally.
Yeah.
And there's a little, it looks like a head with some like broadcast lines coming out.
Yeah, it looks like a podcast symbol, but it's a head instead of a...
So I just hit that, and then it asked for what are you doing? And I typed in TPN.
So that's probably your status
293, update. I think. Right now, that's going to be my status update.
Yeah.
And then it gave me a countdown. So I hit go, and then it gave me a countdown on the bottom of the screen that said 3, 2, 1, and then I started filming David mid-sentence.
Nice.
Whoa.
Are we breaking?
Oh my gosh.
That's wild.
So is this enhancing our show right now, or is it breaking the show? I mean, I think what you do is you get to that point where a little bit like what you do with Twitch, you can keep going, I don't care.
Okay.
A little bit like with Twitch, where maybe you have someone kind of on the chat,
Elise
managing.
just joined.
Yeah.
What?
Elise just joined.
Elise Hobson is on right now?
Elise is Hobson. Hi.
Oh
So
my
now,
God.
Hey, Elise. How you, it's this way.
You can flip the camera in the corner. There you go.
So we have the person who was actually our guest on Tabletop Test Shop for episode 6 just joined us on our...
So does she have any reactions to what we're saying right now?
If you need to react to us, Elise, do that, please.
Yeah,
we're kind of
please.
experimenting live on
Yeah,
the
so
show
it's
right now.
So, okay, to reply, so obviously I have not done what Chris Lee is doing yet, although I guess now we kind of are.
Yeah.
But today and yesterday, as I was seeing this happen, I was kind of looking on Facebook to see like live things. Now, I think everything I found said it was quote unquote live, but I don't think it was live. I literally I was watching a video that was like released beforehand.
Yeah.
So
Periscope holds onto it for a day or two, right?
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what was that, but I did. So it was interesting because I watched this. It was like Vin Diesel, and he was on his phone, and he was hanging out with Samuel L. Jackson, and they were like, but they were just sitting there like, "Hey, what's going on, guys? Like checking out Facebook Live, and we're here shooting, Triple X." And like we're, I can't tell you what scene this is, but like we're in a church. Like here's the thing, and so they're doing a new Triple X, yeah. So, and apparently they're very excited about it.
Oh boy!
So you can react. Elise just informed me that she's watching us on her phone.
All right.
Wow.
Cool.
I wonder if I went to, I'm not going to do this right now because I want to keep our real show moving along, but I wonder if I went to my browser, if there was a way for me to, were you finding these things on your phone today, Jake?
I was finding it on my browser. That's
in your browser. Okay, good.
I was in my browser. Yeah. That's typically where I'm accessing Facebook. I would just be like online and just pop over and see what's what.
Interesting.
She's informing us that we are in fact live. She has joined the conversation.
There we go.
Awesome.
There might be a way to harness this and make it a positive.
So I think it's very interesting there. So basically kind of, if we're going to come back and do like a little bit of a recap, they're hoping to really leverage this scarcity of like, if you're into this thing, we can probably find it. They have 1.5 billion users, and that is like, that's insane. This could change how news media is reported, how all the, you can, and now we go live to some random person's phone.
Yeah.
From anywhere because something is going on.
Right.
Which is just nuts.
That's crazy.
Which is what we're doing right now.
Yeah. But this is legit because we are experimenting with what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We can keep it running, but we got a few minutes left for this.
So, break. Some other things here is they're giving us options as far as like we can filter. So you should be able to say, if you're doing something and you know that not everyone on your group wants to see this, you're like, oh, I'm going to share this with, this select group of friends or create this hashtag for it or whatever. So that'll be
do for normal posts, right?
Yep.
You can post to only certain people.
So you can do those things. But really, I just think it's kind of, this is all a lot of speculation from Facebook and from other communities. They're investing a lot of time and energy and resources into this kind of tech, and we'll have to see what happens.
All right.
Yeah.
Super cool. Well, I think what we're going to do here is on the show, I think, Elise, we're going to get going here because they're going to hand
Bye,
it
Elise.
Bye, Elise.
So I assume she just saw that as a notification on her phone or something.
Or just on her timeline.
Yeah, no, it just shows up like on your timeline. It's like, so, and that I guess that's kind of the final thing is that if you notice what's happening with Facebook, when Facebook first came out, you couldn't share a photo.
You're right. It was only the 8 photos, right, or whatever.
So now, it's like if it's the majority is video. They're pushing video, and they're pushing even more like live video. This is where they want it to go.
Yeah, they're just covering all their bases instead of just like gathering apps to be hosted on their site like Twitter does, they're just becoming those apps.
They're just becoming them, exactly. And they have 100 people working on live alone, like devs and stuff. So they have a pretty big team. They're taking this very seriously.
So I just heard in my earphone that our mics just broke, so I think we're going to break.
Okay.
So I think we'll get going. We're going back, come back to and talk all about WhatsApp encryption. Yes, V.
Yes.
People are like, wow, we sound like aliens. All right, we'll see you guys. See you guys. Super awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.